We were going to talk about getting your spouse on the same page, your husband on the same page. Yeah, small topic to tackle today. Very small, in the new location of the village. What time is it? Is it a good time? Oh, cool. Wow, look at us go. We always say 10:30 is a soft start. I was telling Alex is very on time, and I was like, you want to say that we start at 10:45, feel free, because all the moms aim for this. 10:30 is when you leave your house.
I do not live 3 minutes from there.
It's just a part of life. So we know. But we're gonna figure out this setup and see how many people come and all of that fun stuff. And we're gonna have a great time. But we're gonna talk about getting your husband on the same page. And I think that it's the second most underprepared thing that you ever do in your life. The first most is just getting pregnant. Is usually the most underprepared, because we are very prepared for a wedding. We are very prepared for purchasing a house. We're even slightly prepared when we go to buy a car, right? You know, you're like, I want this kind of car. And some people could talk you into different things, right? But when we have a baby, like, we just knock boots and then the baby's growing, and then it's like an oh crap moment, right? And it's just like, all right. And then, yeah, and then it's hyper focusing on, am I eating the right things? Am I not eating the right things? Am I doing these right things? Am I doing all this stuff? And then it's, oh gosh, the baby has to come out. Let me prep for birth while I'm already pregnant, right? And let me prep for birth, and let me be so fixated on this thing that is going to be probably less than 12 hours. For some, it could stretch out, but probably less than 12 hours, and 100% the baby comes out. No matter what, right? But we're always like prepping for how the baby's going to come out, which the baby has a 50% show, give into. He's like, I want to do it this way. I'm going to put my head here. I'm going to come at this time. I'm going to rupture the waters now. You know, so there's two people working in this thing that you're 100% trying to plan, right? And then you go home, and every person that I've ever met feels, or maybe you had your baby at home, you're lucky enough to have him at home. You sit there with your husband and you go, They just gave us a baby with no training, right? You get a new job, you get a promotion. They're like, well, we're going to put you through this training regime. You're going to watch these videos that we've made. We're going to read these books, and then you're going to be ready for the position. But you're thrown into motherhood and fatherhood with absolutely no preparation, except for your own life experience with your one flawed parent that you had growing up, right? And so you're either walking into having children with, I'm not doing it that way, or I want to do it exactly the same. But most of the time, we'd like to take a few things off of the shelf of our families and some other families that we loved. Maybe we had a house we went to in high school that they felt like our parents, and things like that we want to adopt. But some of the biggest conflict that happens in a marriage, and why the rate of divorce is so high after people have children, is that we did not plan how we were going to do this thing. We didn't plan that the mom wanted to stay home or didn't want to stay home. Or the plan was that she was completely convinced she was going back to work in 6 to 12 weeks, and that's not what she wants anymore. And so having those conversations, having those plans, I think is very important, because my husband will speak to what happens on the male side of the brain. But we have this thing in our body changing, and we have all of these like secret wisdoms that we have that are self-activating as the baby grows inside of us, because there is a big part of motherhood that is completely intuitive. And it's not the same for them. And so today we're going to talk about how to talk to your husband about things you want to do. Also, stereotypically, women are the researchers, they are the learners, they are the ones that are going into community, and they're going to talk to each other about, oh, what did you do for potty training, and what did you do for your first food, and what did you do that? Essentially why we have this group, right? And that's not generally how men do it. Men are like, oh, we're in this situation, let's figure it out. And that can be very frustrating for those two people. So, do you want to talk about what it's like for you on the, you're at home and there's a baby now? What that was like for you?
Yeah, I feel like the thing that was probably the biggest change is, I think, again, very stereotypically, women think about these things, and since you're Nora's age carrying around little babies and playing with dolls and changing diapers, and obviously it's not what most men do. And so when you're handed one and trying to figure out what to do, it's a lot to figure out. And I think even the questions as they come up, I feel like in general, moms are more proactive with the stuff. And I think from the dad's perspective, at least from my perspective, I can't speak for all dads, but like you said, typically women are the researchers, and I feel like
You're more the researcher in our relationship.
But it's just like bringing up the topic, and so we're entering into another level of homeschool, and so for the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been studying a lot and figuring out what we want homeschool to look like. Whereas I feel like maybe
and
most
we're already
dads
in homeschool.
Yeah.
So just want to point that out. People are like, well, how do you know so much? I'm like, I've got a 7-year education in being a parent because I have a 7-year-old. You want to ask me about 9-year-olds? I'm going to go find a 9-year-old parent.
Yeah.
Probably a 10-year-old parent to help me through that. But I also want to just say this is a learning, the whole thing is learning, and the whole thing is changing, and not knowing what kind of kid you have and what their temperament is and how they're going to learn and all that stuff is that you could be perfectly prepared for round 1, and round 2 is
Curveball.
It's like Rocky 2. It's a completely different opponent, right? Like it's just not the same. It's not the same. That was for the guys out there that are being forced to watch this by their wives.
But I feel like the biggest thing that we see trouble with in the families that we work with is parents not being on the same page philosophically. Why do we want to do anything? Parenting styles, education styles, healthcare choices. It's probably an endless list of things. Why we want to do it is more important than what we're going to do. Because the what will figure out itself if you can know what the why is. But I think that is the most challenging part, is when couples are not on the same page with the why, then the what we do becomes very more butting of heads. And I think that's the thing that, I mean, you guys are in it already, but the thing that I would figure out as soon as possible is the why you want to do certain things. Like that's what I'm doing now with our homeschool. Is one of our really good friends, one of Bridget's best friends, does Charlotte Mason, and she's in love with Charlotte Mason, and Bridget's like, I want to do Charlotte Mason. I'm like, I want to figure out why Charlotte Mason did Charlotte Mason, to figure out
so literally he's like reading about her. He's like going all the way back to, like, I'm going to, and then I was like, there's easier books to read because they're written in the early 1900s, and he's like, no, I'd like to hear it straight from her. And I was like, okay. He's like, I don't know what this word is. I was like, that one, I don't know either, because it's antiquated.
Yeah, but I think that is, I want to figure out her why to see if it aligns with what we want for our kids. And so I think, again, taking that into every aspect of marriage and a relationship and raising kids, it trickles over into many things. But I think if we can figure out the why and know what the why is, then the route we take to get where we want to go tends to become much clearer. It's
with less conflict. And so one of the things that has been, and then I think this is also a big component that we don't factor in, is what your in-laws believe, want, and do, right? Like that's like it's a really hard thing. And especially when it comes to the husband, like he has to be the one to advocate for you, for your children, to stand up for what you believe. And so when we just, like, let's say we just have a super awesome husband who's like, you get to decide everything, babe. I love what you do. Like, that's awesome, right? And I will tell you that I have a 90% decision rate with our family. Like, 90% of the time, I'm like, hey, Vin, want to do this? Hey, you want to go here? Hey, I was like, do you want to go to Shenandoah National Park for Memorial Day? He was like, sure. Right? And I'm like, we're going to camp. He's like, great. I'll learn how to cook on a fire. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's an easy dad. There's 10% of our life where he's like, we are absolutely not doing that. And he'll be like, this is my why, and this is what's philosophically against what I believe for our family. No. And I know in that time, this is not a conversation time. One of these things is the shoes that our kids wear. One of these things is headbands, which everyone's like, that's a kind of crazy thing. When Vincent explains it to you, if you ever want to talk about it, you should never put a headband on your kid, or a very tight hat if you're a boy. But these things but one of the things that has shocked his parents to the core is that our son is never going to do travel baseball. Now, in Vincent's life, I shouldn't say never. Right now, that's our decision. My son loves baseball. Our whole family loves baseball. We love baseball. Dr. Vin traveled how many weekends?
A lot.
A lot. His whole family. I asked at Karen's birthday dinner, hey, what did you do for Thomas's 5th birthday? That's his little brother. And they said, we were probably at one of Vin's games. Because they didn't go on vacation. They didn't do anything except fund and travel with Vin's baseball team. He was very good. But the very key point his coach said to him that stayed with him forever is none of you are going to be in the major leagues, so get good grades in school. So my husband took that right to his heart, and he was dean's list every year of his life until we met. And then he got bad grades because I was distracting. And so, but this has shook them because they're like, what do you mean he's not doing T-ball at 5? Like, they're like, you did T-ball at 5. You loved it. You loved T-ball. And my husband's like, that's not conducive to our family. And their first feeling is, did we do it wrong? Like, what do you mean? What do you need? What? That? You want to come? No, you can't go up there. Not today, okay? Okay. You draw. Here's some paper. What are you doing? Anyways, so they have not stopped bringing it up. When is he going to play baseball? We're going to enroll him in baseball. We're going to take him because we're like, we travel too much, so we'll miss the games. The practices are going to be when my husband is still at work in the evening, and so he'll always miss them. Like, and the other thing, he's like, so let's say he does play baseball. He has no skills. So he's like, we went and watched one of our friends play T-ball, and the kids are literally like sitting in the field, digging in the grass, playing, and he was infuriated. He was like, this is a waste of the team's time. This is a waste. And everyone's like, it's T-ball, it's fun. But this is how my husband feels about this. He's like, if we're going to play pickleball, we're going to go practice pickleball skills. If we're going to play basketball, we're going to practice basketball skills. We're not just going to like mess around and do this. Is it not working? What happened? Did you hit your head? And so that's like one of those things where it's like, you may have a spouse that's like, no matter what, our kid's playing football, I played football. And you could be like, hey, I learned about football and it's really damaging. Like my friends, the chiropractor said they would never, there's nothing is ever going to happen for our kid to play football.
Sports are out of the
like he could say to us, I want to play football so bad. And we would be like, no. And then he'd be like, get a job, buy your own stuff, enroll yourself. You're going to have to be, and drive yourself to the practice. You're going to have to be 16-year-old before you start football. Which, and still, at that point, we're going to be
living in our house.
You're still living in our house, and the answer is no, because of what it does to your body. And so, but we have friends that are chiropractors who played football, and their kids are already in football, and their mindset is, I can adjust them out of what they do. And you can't, because you can't unadjust brain damage, which happens. But these are the things where it's like, this conversation about football is the same conversation about circumcision. Right? Like, and people are like, no, it's not. Like, yes, it is, because everyone's just rolling along. You knocked boots, you got a baby, and now you haven't found out what the sex is. And then you have the baby, and we had a couple, they were like, we're just not going to talk about it until the baby's born. And I was like, because the dad was like, we're circumcising. What happened, Denora? The dad was like, we're circumcising. And the mom's like, there's no way we're doing that. And we're like, we gotta talk about this. We gotta have resources. We gotta have these things. And the guys, the whole thing was, I want my son to look like me, right? That's what they say all the time. And then my retort, if you don't know what my position is, I'm anti-circumcision. My retort is, when was the last time you saw your dad's penis? Literally, and shuts every man up. Because it's like, I don't have that. When was the last time you were in a locker room counting how many uncircumcised guys there were? And because those are the two big things. And then the next, so if let's say somebody up levels it and they're like, oh, let's look at in the incidence of penile cancer, or the incidence of it being dirty and getting infected, and STDs and all these different things. And it's like, this is a great, so now we're having a conversation, right? Where it's just like, no, I'm concerned about my son's health. Because if that's your concern, and it's not about, well, I want him to look like other guys, which is when are you in the room with other guys? Like, is there a penis measuring party that you guys have? Like, do you guys line up and everyone just tears each other apart? I don't know if these things happen. From what I've asked, those aren't real things, right, Vin?
Correct.
Correct.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Or else he didn't participate. But so far with all the guys that I've talked, these things don't exist. Also, there's so many benefits to it. So having the conversation and being like, hey, I need you to be open-minded about this. Can we look at this website, yourwholebaby.org, together and talk about circumcision? Or even say, like, so you and I can't decide. He can be circumcised at any point in his life. So let's table this until he's here. We adapt to having a baby and we'll have a conversation. We'll revisit it before his first birthday. And in that time, will you look at these resources? So things like that, having those conversations, because circumcision is a big one. Playing sports is a big one. Doing school is a big one. The mom staying home is a big one. These are all conversations that happen. But I think some of the other things to talk about, and this is very hard emotionally, that it's taken my husband and I, we're married 8 years this year, and probably around year 5, we really started to figure out how to talk about this. But what do we want from our family? Like, what did we learn from our parents? Like, what do we want to imitate and what do we want to never, ever do? And having that conversation. Because even just having the conversation can be one of the hardest things. Because guys in general, again, I'm not talking about everybody, don't want to open up about their wounds. Now, I got a couple guys that take care of that could literally talk your ear right off your body, right? But I would say in general, guys are like, I'm fine, I'm tougher because of the way that I was raised, and that's what it is. Or we had a friend get hit in the face with a baseball. Their kid got hit in the face with a baseball, and the mom was so mad. And the dad literally said, he's going to be fine. It's going to happen to him. He needs to be tough. And while there's a part of us as a mother that's like, oh, like, I don't want that for my son, it's actually kind of like part of how men work. Like, they get hurt and they push through it. It's just who they are. And that's the thing that we can't understand as girls, right? So if we have a son, there's stuff that we don't get and we never can get because we don't have a male brain, that we have to defer to our husband. But if we don't have a line of communication with our husband and what do we want our son to become, then your son can start to get lost, especially between the ages of 6 and 13. Because that's when he starts to pull away from you and go to him. And so if he's preparing for it, which Vin has been preparing for it, but when we got married and got pregnant, we sure as heck weren't. But that's when we joined a family mentorship, and Vin learned this concept about thinking about being a coach. So why don't you talk about that?
Yeah,
Hi, Carly.
one of the best frameworks that I was ever heard about being a dad and being the man in a relationship is that our job is a coach, and as a part of a coach, you don't just go to games, continue the baseball thing, you don't just go play at tournaments, you have to practice. And so if there's certain things that we want our kids to do, we have to practice those skills. But teams have uniforms, they've got slogans, they've got different things that they do, that being a part of the team, there's a meaning to being a part of a team. It's not just a random collection of people. It's not like there's like you're not just going to play for fun, like in intramurals. Like there's a goal. There's also a goal with having a team. And so with envisioning the family as a team, the dad's role is the coach. And I think, again, for me and for I think most men who've played sports, it becomes an easier thing to digest as opposed to looking at your role as a father, looking at as your role as a coach. I think gives a certain framework that makes it easier to process and digest what that means. And yeah.
And so we focus a lot on calling ourselves a team, saying that we're doing this as a family team. Like, easy example, yard work. Like, we're all going to be outside. We're all going to be working on the yard. Now, let's say it's Cameron's age. Cameron probably won't be able to understand Jonathan saying, hey, do these things, like do this, follow me. But if you and Jonathan are filling a wheelbarrow with leaves and pushing it, if you had a little wheelbarrow for him, he's immediately going to pick up leaves and put them in his wheelbarrow and follow you wherever you're taking it. Without even any instruction whatsoever, because your children naturally want to be a part of your team. Like they naturally want to come alongside and do these things with you. We went to the Springs and we were all carrying stuff to the car. So everybody picked up stuff and we're like, okay, Honora, come with us. And Honora was like, I don't have something. So she picked up 4 noodles. So now picture a 1.5-year-old with 4 noodles. And she was just trucking along. Like, this is what we do. Like, this is a part of it is. The other thing she did last night, we were at a restaurant and Dr. Vin was taking our leftovers and putting them in a box. And there was another box of leftovers. And so Honora got the box and started emptying all the little, like the cilantro and the red onions and all this stuff into this box because she was like, oh, this is what we're doing. Just now when we were here, at the end of the day, we take out all the trash for the office and she saw that the trash had trash in it and she took the top off and she was taking the trash bag out. And I was like, well, that's great, honey. It's not the end of the day, but they're always watching you starting as young as 1. You can start to incorporate them as a family team. Will things be longer, slower, and done more poorly? Yes. So is it when you're late that you do this? No. But if you're just like, hey, we're going to go outside and do this. And there's a lot of talk about this in the book, Hunt, Gather, Parent, where it's just like, invite the children into doing it. Don't require them to stay and finish it at this very young age. It's just like, yeah. And the example they had was they were making tortillas and this woman had 3 daughters. And so she's making the tortillas and she's doing this whole thing. And the little one comes up and like pats the dough 3 times and then drops it and walks away. And she doesn't say, oh, you need to finish what you started. She just picks it up and she finishes it. And then the next one comes and she does like 5 or 6 tortillas and then she leaves. And then the oldest girl who had just finished the dishes and she just woke up and started doing the dishes and the woman was like, I can't believe you're 15 and you're helping your mom with the dishes, you didn't even ask you. And she's like, I like to help my mother. And so it's creating a culture in your family team about like we help each other and we do this and dishes are a necessary part of our life. And so we're like, if we all can work on this, that would be really great. And so having that conversation with your husband, like, well, what does our family team mean? What does it mean, like, to be a Farrar, right, for us? And when we go places, like, we talk to our kids like it's a family team. I had 4 kids with me, 5 kids alone. We went on a nature walk with friends, and I had borrowed 2 other kids from someone else. And I was like, listen, anytime I say count off, I need you guys to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I was teaching them, like, hey, you're going to have to, you have a number, and when you start, like, you hear me count, you need to say your number. And the other kids will hear you saying your number. And so we did it multiple times on this nature walk, but I said, count them out. And they'd be like, 1. And the other one would be like, oh, we're counting. What was I? 2. And then like do this whole thing. But it's just like, hey, we're all together. We need to stay together. And I say to my kids a lot when it's just me, I said, listen, I'm one mommy and I have 3 kids. I said, so I'm going to need family teamwork to work on this. And so I may need help carrying things. When we get out of the car, I say, hey, mommy, what do you need help carrying in? And they go, oh, hey, mommy, what do you need help carrying in? And I'm like, you need to do this, and you can do this, and you can do this. Look at Carrie is just, she's going to trip. Hey, girl, hey.
I grabbed King.
What did you get?
Pizza. I was trying to be like fancy with like French bread and stuff. I couldn't make it work. So I
You are
just got pizza and cookies.
You are so cute. She's like, did you eat? I was like, no. She's like, do you want to eat? I was like, sure.
Always.
Because she walked into the bowels of the Enchanted Cottage this morning, and she was like, oh, it's all gone. I was like, it went fast. Yeah, no, it's real dicey over there. You like walk in, you're
I
like,
think I need to look at it. Like it's like not.
you're totally welcome to go look at
You
it.
know how you like look at a dead body?
Yeah. You're like, I just need to know you're not here.
Like when one of your dog dies, you have to like let the other one see, or else they're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Jess started dismantling the climby thing, I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for this. Oh.
You pick that up.
Wow,
Pick
Cameron.
that up, Bella.
Wow.
He's like, what happened to you?
Go down.
Hello, Maggie.
I don't
Hello.
have anything to throw, but
Yeah. It was like Jesus when he came in and they had the palm branches. He was just celebrating your arrival. So I think when we talk about Dad being on the family team and being a part of the whole thing, the coach conversation can really help facilitate it. Now, if you had
There's a really good book that I just randomly picked up at the store because the author had my same last name.
and we were
I was
like, we gotta
"Hey,
read
what is
this.
It's called Point Man. It's a different analogy to the same concept though. And I feel like if husbands would read that, it would be very helpful. It was a really, really good book. Point Man. I think his first name is Steve Farrar.
Yeah. No relation.
That we know of.
Yeah.
Sure related somehow.
You guys are gonna post when do you guys usually post these videos?
Usually the same day.
Same day, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Usually the same day or within a day. Jewel likes to get things off her checklist. She's like really phenomenal
Oh, that's awesome.
at getting stuff off the checklist.
Yeah, no one's
so-
here.
What?
Yeah, no one's here.
Aunt Norm? Oh, to get the kids. How
But yeah,
exciting.
that book is really good. I think it talks more from like a military context, but again, it's the same thing. It's just like you are as the man, the point man for the family, and then it's really good. It's really, really good. It was an easy read too.
There's another book also called Family Revision that we really love.
That's a game changer.
And and that again for your husband, but for you.
I think for
for
I think
everybody.
the whole team.
Also for your parents. Like if you're like, hey, this is the concepts that we're bringing into our life. King does not want his diaper changed. That is faux show. He's like, I just got here, Mom. What are you doing? But when you start to have these concepts, they're very different. So the big thing that family teams brought to us is they said the American culture works on being a springboard for success. Like tries to like be like, okay, I'm going to have these 2.4 kids and I want them to be uber successful and they're going to launch themselves and start their own family. And then
they take that and they move over a lane and then they start running their own race.
yes. And there's nothing to do with you. Like there's nothing to do with your family and all that stuff. There's a camera right there, just so you know. I just knew you were trying to be. You're fine. You can walk by it. It's totally fine. Family Revision by Jeremy Pryor. I mean, it's so good.
It is so
There's
good.
another book.
you've recommended that author.
Yes, Jeremy Pryor is the man. He's
He's
the
the one who started family teams.
he's the one who we
part of.
signed. He's our family mentor. So when we say we love him,
Jeremy, sorry, last.
Pryor, P-Y-R-O-R. And he has a very, his goal is biblical parenting. So if that's not your scene, you won't like it. But he said when Abraham, it's okay. Yeah, they're there. So the door that's open has toys in it too. So literally she can follow the pathway of fun. I put them on both sides so the kids can play. But he wanted to relive the way that Abraham had his family in the Bible. And when Abraham needed to go save his brother or his cousin or something, I can't remember the story. His nephew, he went in, I knew it was something. He went into his house and gathered 700 warriors, like 700 men or something like that.
317.
317 men. I'm Irish, so I embellish everything. I take it from his nephew, I made him his brother. It's not 300 men, it's 7. There's a 7 in the number. Yes, yeah, I can, my fish was
your
this
truth.
big, okay? And so he could go into his household and say, I need these men to come and fight and save my nephew. And 317 men were like, yes, sir, let's go. Because we know what it means to be a part of this family. We know what it means to need to protect this family. And we're all going to go. And so that's like a very warrior mindset of it.
And that was before he had kids.
Yes. But it was part of his, like, it was the family he was building. And so the way that he raised his family was like, it means something to be who we are, and we show up for each other. And I'm owning this land and being this person. And because I am this person, once you have children, whether it's my grandchildren or you as my children, you are underneath this covering and you are a part of this family and you will have a piece of this. So like the modern day version of this is having a real estate empire, right? And when you pass away, the Rockefellers have crushed this, right? They own everything. They have tons of money and they have life insurance policies that are their own personal banks. And then when you are born into the Rockefeller family, now they're like 9 generations deep. These people are still benefiting from the money that the first line of the family did because of how they set up the legacy. So, yeah, and so people, and they own everything. And so people think about that and they're like, oh, that's not attainable for me. And it doesn't, and that can be as small as you own your house and you leave it to your children, because that's still generational wealth and it's still going to be worth more. Or you can do it where you have a business that you leave to them or whatever it is. But like, if you're doing this right, you never have to go, oh, my kid is going to move to Colorado and have 5 kids and I'm never going to see them. The goal is that you are so wonderful and so attractive and you've built such a beautiful life that your kids stay here, have their grandkids, right? And they're around you. Like that's the vision, right? And there's always going to be the things that pull you away and move you away for a season or do these different things, or depending on who your kid marries. But like we have a family that we're really close with and all of the sons live around their parents. And when the guy that we know, he's a chiropractor, he met his wife and they decided like, hey, we're serious. He said, I just want you to know, like, I'm at the point where I would like to marry you. Like, I think you're my wife. But if you don't want to move home to Ohio with me and I'm going to be a chiropractor and this is what my life is going to look like, if you don't want that, then we should stop right now, because that's what I'm looking for. And he was very open and honest with her. And he was like, I love you and I want it to be you, but I'm also not going to make you choose this if you don't want to be under the covering of my family. And she had to take the time to think about it. And then she decided yes. And they have this beautiful life and they have family dinner every Thursday night and their kids get to see their grandparents all the time. And they don't get to see her grandparents. That was a choice she made. And it's a priority in their family. And they still, and their parents are still like, it's like a couple hours south in Columbus. And they still see them. But when he said, like, this is what I'm doing with my life, I would like to provide this life for you. And when she said, I want to stay home with the kids, he was like, great, because I've set myself up to let you stay here, right? Not and let you is not the right word. To provide for you, to make it possible for you to stay here, right? And that's what it is. And so kind of like building a family, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's the guy, because I would like Karen's husband to be like, I want to be a part of this, because I have another family I'm super close with, and the dad owned the business. And when they met they had 2 daughters, and when they met them, he was like, I have jobs for you. And then he was like, I would like to help you buy a house. And that's great, but it can't be not farther than 5 miles from me. So I will buy you a house, but I'm not going to buy you a house in Ohio. I'm going to buy you a house here in Jacksonville, and I'm going to help you get that, because it's so important for us to stay together. And so things like that, so like really beautiful things. And so if you have 2 families like that, right? Let's say we had 2 powerful Jacksonville families, like the Chadwicks and the Farrars, and Cameron and Nora get married. Let's just use it as an example that I'm speaking into existence. So I get a blue-eyed baby Bridget as a granddaughter. Erica already said it was okay. She's going to help me encourage this. But we now, if they fall in love with someone in Jacksonville, right, and they stay, then their parents are here, and then we can all just love each other together, which is kind of what you have, right? You guys have both of your families here.
Yeah.
But if we did that, we would be here. We would be building our empire, and you and Jonathan would be building your empire and having all your kids. And then our families would be united and they would walk. And then when they had kids, we would be here to grandparent them. And then the thing that I thought was really cool that they talked about, Jefferson Bethke is the other guy who does family teams with Jeremy Pryor, is he just moved from Maui, which was an incredible place. They have this incredible like compound they had for their family. Their parents lived there, but they realized that living in Maui was not going to be conducive to their children, because there's not a lot of opportunity in Maui. So let's say they wanted to be an astronaut, or they wanted to be a Fortune 500, or they wanted to be a nurse or a doctor. That doesn't necessarily mean that they could end up back in Maui. It's not a lot of opportunity. Very beautiful place to live. And so they looked at the whole country and the relation to their family, and they chose to move to Nashville, right? Nashville?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's an international airport. It's a large enough city so that if there's something they want to do, they can do it. And so that's how we feel about Jacksonville, right? Jacksonville is a growing city, but you could pretty much do anything. Hopefully we're going to raise 5 chiropractors that just want to do this. That's our goal. That marry chiropractors, that would be great. Or they could be a pastor or a midwife. Those are the other ones I'm okay with. Those would be great. But also a dentist would probably be really great for our family team because that's expensive. But we're hoping to build entrepreneurs. Like we talk to Vincent, he's 6 years old, he's going to turn 7 in June. We talk to him all the time about what his first job is going to be. Like washing cars for people, doing their garbage cans, doing landscaping, because we're like, you need to learn how to earn money. Like that's so important. Vincent, please get down. Thank you. Because we want you to be free if you want to be free. Right? And so you are your own man. So, but if we want Vincent to be able to have his own landscaping business at 15 years old, we have to train him in the things to run a business. I asked you to get down. I'm not going to say it again. Yeah, that's what he wanted. That's what he wanted. He was like, I really would like the bat costume, Mom. And he did this and this. And he shows the sausage. And he wants to wear it on his belt. Okay. Hey, Vincent, look at me. I'm not going to say it again.
You're blocking the
Vincent,
camera.
You are in. Yeah. Yes. So I'd like you to get down. Thank you very much. No, you're still in it. You're still in it. When you're off it, you're not in it. So that's great. No. Yes.
All the viewers are going to be like, look at this misbehaving child.
Yeah. And again, that's a part of raising children. It's a part of raising children. But you know what? And when we told him why, now it's not our pizza. Aunt Norn is here. Did you see her?
Yeah. She's back there talking.
Yeah, there's.
I think you've done an incredible job.
Thanks.
It's funny.
But when I told him why, do you realize that's when he got off? He was, because he was just like, you're just telling me to get off because you're a mean mom and I want to be on here and all this stuff. And then when it's like, you're ruining the shot, bro. And he was like, oh, I got it. But so, and that's the thing that we talk a lot about time because my husband, suave, honey.
Suave.
Honora.
Not the neck, okay? We hug her here if she wants to be hugged. I don't think she wants.
Hey, Vin.
She wants space.
Yeah, but the family revision book has many really good examples. Like one of the first stories it starts with, because Jeremy Pryor met his wife while I think they were on a trip to Israel, and they met and they were just studying the culture of the families in Israel, and he compared 2 boys, a boy that was raised in Israel to a boy who was raised in Atlanta, and one of the questions that he asked, the spoiler, he said that, tell me who the oldest relative in your family is. And he's like, well, I know my parents, I know a little bit about my grandparents, I don't really know anything about my great-grandparents, but the the child in Israel could tell you all his lineage all the way back to Abraham. And then another thing that he said about the boy in Atlanta, he's like, well, tell me about the Braves. And he's able to tell him all about the Braves and all this stuff, because that is what the culture prioritized. And so I think that was shocking to me. It's just like, man, it is crazy. Yeah, that's right. And what we value essentially is going to get passed on. If we're valuing the Atlanta Braves over our family, then we'll know more about the Braves than we will our family. But I do think it is, and again, I think that's where, again, the leaders of the family team coming together and figuring out what is the course they want to set for the family, and then they can take that and then figure out what they want that to look like. Like we're trying to do family values and even trying to make some sort of statement that we can recite every morning with the kids. I'm just like, what does it mean to be a Farrar, and how do we display those values so we can pass on the things that we want to pass on, as opposed to letting things just kind of happen as they may.
And so that's the thing and then there's another book, and it's very important, I think. It's called Hold On to Your Kids. So the book Hold On to Your Kids talks about why we lose connection with our parents as we ascend through middle school and into high school. And that our sphere of influence stops being mom and dad and starts to be our friends, teachers, and coaches. And it's a very sobering book about going to school. And so if homeschooling is your goal, read that together. But it's also just one of those things just being like, well, I guess it makes sense why we don't want our kids to have 10 extracurricular activities and all these things, because every time you sign them up for something else that you're not participating in, they detach a little bit from you and attach to somebody else. And what we see, and I think it's very prevalent in this time, is a lot of people who are raised by television, who are raised by their cell phones, and are raised by their complete, like, this whole world is about me and it revolves around me. And it's not about like, I'm a part of a family and my family has an impact on the area and what I do. Like outside of like recycling, everyone is just really caring about what does this mean for me? What am I entitled to? And all of these different things. And we've got a lot of spoiled brats out there, right? A lot of spoiled brats. And they're in the workforce now. And this is the thing where people are like, I'm a snowflake, I'm a rainbow, I'm the special person, and I have my own identity. And it's like, yes, you are special, but you also need to show up to work on time, work hard. And if you're having a hard day, you're going to have to push through it, right? And that's not the culture that we have. And a lot of that was because in the generation between millennial and whatever, I don't know any of the names, right? It was a very hands-off parenting. And so now we almost have a reaction where it's like this helicopter parenting where it's like, I want to control absolutely everything with my kid's life. Everything has to be perfect and all that. And it's like, well, we need them to fall on their face and get scraped because they need to know that's what happens when you fall. But we also need to say like, wow, you're in this situation. So yesterday Vincent hit his friend. He hit him once. His friend is older than him. And he's like, I really want to hit him back, but I know I shouldn't hit him back because he's my friend. But I'm mad. And he said, his parents have been teaching him, like, if somebody starts a fight with you, you never start a fight, but you do finish it, right? Because this is something, again, people are like, oh no, don't fight. Like, no, somebody's hitting you, defend yourself. So he was having this like problem where he was like, I was told to defend myself, but I also know I'm not supposed to hit my friends. What do I do? So then we had this whole conversation. We talked to Vincent about it. He was like, I'm sorry. You know, his friend said, I forgive you, the whole thing. Then an hour later, Vincent hits him again. And his mom, my best friend, was like, do not hit my son. She's like, Vincent, you do not get it. So Vincent runs to me, because this is also while the cottage is being dismantled and we're trying to move things over here. So, it's, an easy time to have a talk with your son. And he's so mad that my best friend talked to him that way. He's like, I can't believe, I said, I'm glad she talked to you that way. And so Vin and I discussed it and we went to them and we said, listen, if that happens again, he is fully entitled to hit our son. Like if you were going to attack someone and hit them from behind, ew. I was like, gross, Vincent. And he hit you back. I go, he's not going to be in trouble. I just want you to know. And he was like, my son is like shocked by this whole thing. And we were like, we don't know what other way to do this with you. Because like right now, Cameron is not hitting her. This is not correctable in the same way that it's correctable for our 7-year-old. But even, yeah, he's like, but that's,
he knows that she's,
this probably, but it probably, it's more because he likes her.
yeah.
Not because usually when they don't like somebody, what do? They peace out. Yeah, they're not, so he's like walking up to me and he's like, I like you.
Is he defending King?
I don't think so. I think he just wanted to touch her.
Okay.
But I also think that kids get cute aggression. Like, I really do. Cute aggression. You know, like when you want to bite your kid, they're so cute. Like, that's called cute aggression, where you're just like, oh, I just want to, like, squeeze your cheeks right off.
Yeah.
I think babies have that for each other. And that's where some of the biting comes from, where some of the, like, grabbing comes from. Because, like, Honora's, the pushing is not right. That's coming from her siblings. But when she, like, hugs them and then doesn't let go, she's literally, like, she's literally, like, giving them a full Nelson. Like, to get a, like, because it's not because she's like, I'm going to hurt you. She's like, I just love you so much. I want you to feel it all right around your neck with my 2 little chubby arms, right? So it's my theory. I don't have like full research on that, but I do think there is cute aggression baby to baby. We have one friend whose baby just bites other babies and not his siblings. So I'm like real convinced it's cute aggression because he's like, oh, I just want to eat ya. And he's a sweet little baby. So those would be books, those would be conversations, and I would also just keep encouraging them to like just saying like, I don't want to just tell you what I want to talk about it. And then when they say, well, I don't want to talk about it, let's just do what you do. I might be like, can I get that in writing? Like, truly, just because, but it's also like, we are available to change. Like, we're available for a discussion. It doesn't always have to be a fight. We fight. Dr. Vin and I fight, but we don't fight a lot about like when things are not, because he'll say, we had an argument about homeschool the other day, and he was like, but what is our why? Like, why do we want to homeschool? And like, we want to be the influence to our kids. We want to spend the most time with them. We don't want to lose these 16,000 hours. We want to control what they learn, how they learn, and when they learn it. We don't want him to be forced to read early and forced to have handwriting. Like, those are really important things. Like, we want autonomy over our kids' education. That's why we homeschool. And so does Charlotte Mason fit into that? Because we also, knowing us, need some sort of guiding structure. Or else our kid will never learn anything. Because if it's not a part of our rhythm and we don't have something like that's leading us, we are going to be set up for failure because that's just who we are. Whereas I have two best friends who are so organized, so planned, so diligent, so in love with the process. And I think sometimes if I didn't have my career, would I be that into it? Probably. But I don't have that space, but that's why God gave me these friends, to have that space, to be able to homeschool with them. And when they're like, oh, this is a really great book, or this is a really great curriculum, or hey, we're going to go on a nature walk and learn about hummingbirds. Here's a YouTube video to watch. Here's the book to read. Here's all this stuff. And I'm like, thanks, guys. Because I want to do those things, but I don't have the bandwidth at the moment to like plan. And then he is a hold apart thinker, right? So he's like, what do we want Vincent to be at 18? And what we want him to have is we want him to have some sort of skill, trade, or business that makes him a ton of money, that he can decide what he wants to do with his life. If he wants to go to college or if he just would like to work a trade. And when it comes to our daughters, we want them to be like, I would like to go to college, but I would also like to have children. And if I have children, I would like to be in a relationship where I could focus on those children. And that's the most important thing to me. Or if they're like, I would like to have a career, then they can have a career. But we would like them to have that choice, and them also knowing how important their job as a mother is. And so that even at 15 years old, I want Karen to think about that so much that she's not thinking, I should go make out with this cute guy who lifeguards with me. Because I know he doesn't have a plan for his life, and I want to find a man who has a plan for his life. Like, that's the kind of stuff we're thinking about when she's 5 years old and training in. Like, do you want to have, she says she wants to have 51 kids. So when she says that she wants to have 51 kids, I was like, well, it's going to be hard for you to have 51 kids leave your body. So maybe you should open a school, or maybe you should have this, or maybe you'll start a charity where you help foster kids. Like, what, like if that's your heart is to have 51 children, like I will help you get 51 children. But then the next question is, how are we going to fund that? Should the family legacy build a branch there for you? Is that your dream? Can we make a charity for you? Sure. Or are you saying that because you don't really understand what the number 51 is? But I said, what kind of husband do you think will take care of 51 children? But it seems so silly to talk to a 5-year-old about that. But if I'm planting these ideas in her head about, it's not just about getting a man and getting married, but it's about who he is, who he wants to be, and does he fit into our family team, then that's a conversation that starts at 1. Because you're doing these things. And to say that to a guy and just saying, what do you want our son or our daughter to look like at 18? And the thing is, we don't want them to be a drug addict. We don't want them to be a teen pregnancy, right? We don't want them to have dropped out of school. We don't want them to be lazy, right? We want them to be hardworking. And that doesn't just magically happen. It intentionally happens when 2 people are committed to raising a kid, or even one woman who's left with a kid, if she's committed to that. My mom did a phenomenal job. She did a phenomenal job with me. I tell people all the time, if they're going through divorce or they're a single mom or they have shared, whatever it is, I was like, I was raised by my mother and I turned out great. Was I wild between 15 and 23? Yes. And I will pray that if that's your situation in the future, or whoever's listening, if you're just a mom and you're like, wow, I was hard. I was but I still had values and I had a compass that guided me. And God saved me from a lot of things, praise the Lord. But you are going to constantly be making decisions, and you can always change, you can always be better, you can always apologize. But to get on the same page as your spouse, the whole point of the talk is, if you have no idea what to talk about, read these books, and we might write a book. We might write a book of just what you should do to plan for this. It's on the list of ideas now. What you should do. But other than that, that was our big prep for today. But we're open to any questions or anything anyone needs, wants, and any tips on how we could make this better.
Amaya wants the whole place to herself.
Well, the rooms to 6 and 3 are both open, so they can wander around too.
I will say having family support is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Very huge. Very shocked. And it breaks my heart. Like for me, my in-laws, like just reflecting on it, as soon as we got married, they left. Mm-hmm. They were the ones that picked up and moved. Mm-hmm. And it was great for us to be able to go up to the mountains and visit multiple times a year. Like that was home away from home. But it's like, I felt bad. My heart broke for my husband because it's like he grew up here, mm-hmm. and then his family left him, so then we created like our own family, and then we grew close to my family. But it's like that's something that I want him to be confident in, like the family dynamic and the relationship, like not pick up and leave.
Yeah, but it requires a lot of sacrifice, right? Because that's what his parents wanted. Like they worked their whole lives, and and I think this is a big mentality too that we have to shift away from. Is like we're 65, we retired, we have all this money, and now we get to do what we wanted. Because the other thing that we try to do just for our family is that we are trying to work so that we don't have to wait till we're 65. Yeah. To experience life, and I would rather have many small experiences than wait till I'm 65 and go on a 12-month cruise. Like it's just not. I don't want to be anywhere for 12 months straight. That's not my home. But and that's what we work towards, right? Like that's our whole vision. Everything that we've built and everything that we do is to try and support our family unit. Because if we have this super strong village, right, then why would our kids go into the woods to live on their own, right? They might go there to explore, but they're going to come back because they know that there's food, water, shelter, love, advice, wisdom here. And so with that, the sacrifice would be, okay, well, we are in Jacksonville. All of our grandkids are here. Because I told Vin, I committed to working with him until we both couldn't even push on a subluxation and adjust it. And now I'm like, I don't think that's my life. And he was like, that's not what I signed up for. And I was like, but I think I want to be a professional grandma. Like I would that's, I think, the vision that I'm supposed to have for my life. And he's like, you sold me a bill of goods, lady. And I was like, I'll still work sometimes, like, because I'm such a good chiropractor, like, I don't want to give that up. But I also am like, when my children have children, like, both of my parents are passed away. So my mom passed away when my son was 7 weeks old. So I never had her there. But my sister Dawn, who just walked in, has been like a mother and has been at all of our births and has been there for like all this stuff. She's like has showed up for us. Oh, buddy. Are you frustrated? But I want to be there for them however they need. But he was like, well, what if they live in Nevada? I was like, we better get a camper. So I can just roll up and be close for a season. But the kids who stay here, right? So let's say the kids stay here. Let's say Karen becomes a chiropractor. She's already delivered her first adjustment to her sister, in case anyone's wondering. Which my first adjustment was at 3, so she's 4, so she's tracking. What if Karen's here and Karen has 5 kids? I can help her with those 5 kids. Like when Vin's family moved here when our daughter was 2, so we had a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, our whole life changed. because they had grandparents. We had people that wanted to spend time with with them that we didn't have to pay, right? Like that they were like, yeah, let's take them. Oh, we want to celebrate. Like, oh, we want to be a part of their birthdays. Oh, Vincent does jujitsu, and on every Wednesday, his grandparents take him and they watch him learn this thing. And they're like bitter about it, right? Because they're like, why is he doing jujitsu and not baseball? Well, because jujitsu is something our whole family can learn. And so that's the goal too, is like, if we're going to do a sport, we're going to do something that we can all do together. Now, Dr. Vin and I have to figure out how we're going to learn jujitsu, but that's a part of, like, we're going to do it because, and also it's hard for a 5-year-old girl, right, and a 7-year-old boy to do baseball together, right? That doesn't happen. It's boys teams and girls teams. And now, of course, it's 2025, so I'm sure they could be in there, but it's not going to be the same experience. And they'll never be on the same team together. But if we did archery, we can all do it together. If we go to play basketball at the park, our family team can play basketball. But we're not on a team that excludes everybody else. So those are some of the things that...
I think that makes sense because when you get into all those sports, like, it's like constantly everybody taking people to practices that no one else is involved in but the one person.
And there's no dinner. And statistically, having dinner together is like the single most important thing you can do. Like, and it doesn't have to be dinner because dinner is not our strong, but if we have lunch together, a meal every day together is very important. Like, it's an important thing because it's where conversation, connection, all that stuff happens. But when you're eating fast food in the back of the car at 9 p.m., because that's where you're at the baseball field, it's not conducive. But even in that, Vin's family is a show up for you family. If we called them right now, we just put out a text like, Karen's in the hospital, literally every single person would be here in under 4 hours. Like, they would show up. When we have a birthday party, everyone shows up. Like, it's just who their family is. So even if you didn't have dinner every night and you did travel baseball and that was your whole life, it doesn't mean you can't have a strong family unit. And so just those things. Those are things to talk about. Like, what do we want our life to look like when our kids grow up? Because the other thing, I think there's a lot of focus with men on what is it, I get my wife back at some point. And so we have to do a good job as women not to leave our husband behind while we have kids. And I think that's also the conversation when we're like, oh, we want to have more kids or we want to have a lot of kids. The husband has to say, like, yeah, we want a lot of kids and I know that that's going to be a lot of your time. But I also know that I'm going to sleep next to you longer than I'm ever going to sleep next to a baby. Right? Because these are big fights. Are we going to co-sleep? Absolutely not. Then we have the baby. Where's the baby end up? In the bed, right? And you're just like, I was so anti-co-sleeping, but then I realized I was never sleeping, right? And so, or they're like, we want to co-sleep. What was that sound?
Somebody knocking.
Maybe they're
Probably
coming back
some-
with pizza.
I don't know.
I'm sure it's just the kids. Yeah.
I don't feel like Sarah's knock is that loud, is it? No. Okay. But yeah, so those are the things, and also just being like, this could change. But you don't know when you have your first kid that people said they weren't co-sleeping and then they co-sleep. And you don't know that what it's like to have a breastfeeding relationship, that your baby won't take a bottle and you can't pump, and so literally your husband can never help you, right? Like, those are things. Like, we have a niece and she's formula fed and bottle fed, and she has spent an entire week at my mother-in-law's house at 4 months old. Wow. Right? And you can't imagine that as a breastfeeding mom. But it's a possibility, and my mother-in-law was happy to do it because it kept her out of daycare on another week. It was my sister-in-law's first week at work, and she was like, I'm just not ready. But she would rather have her here in Jacksonville with my mother-in-law than at a daycare at that young. And so to us, we couldn't fathom being away from our kid. But to her, what was important is it's important that they're both working and that they would rather have her with a family member. And so those are the things that you're like, oh, I don't know what it means, but waiting to figure it out till you're in the situation is hard. And it leads to conflict with your spouse.
I know. We gotta let our friends play too. They hear you.
Yeah, I think kind of what you touched on, like, I feel like we actually had a lot of good conversations, but I also have changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
I've also, like, been with my husband for, like, a long time, and we were just very different people than when we first met. And I think we've done a great job of growing together, and in my relationship, we purposely waited to have kids to kind of get more settled. I'm so glad we did, because I am just such a different person I was 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
some of the conversations are a little more difficult because it's kind of like you said, it's not what I signed up for.
Yeah, but there's some guy saying it in a reel, but I've heard it 100 times. It's like that you're going to be married to 7 different women in your life. If you're lucky, if it's the same one. That's what he said. But the thing is that as a 20-year-old, as 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 30 to 35, 35 to 40, those are some of the most significant shifts of your life. Becoming a mother, having a career. I mean, we literally don't have a fully functioning brain until we're 25, right? And so like we're like things that we're like I said to my sister when she had kids. So my sister Dawn, she's 15 years older than me. Stuff I said to my sister, arrogant girl that I am, not her. When she had her kids. And I was like, I will never, I will never. She reminds me all the time of the things that I said. I also made my niece Francesca a bright pink first birthday cake. Like neon with dye, right? Because I was 22. I had no idea about food dye. And my sister did know. And she still let her daughter have the cake.
She hated it. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
But she wouldn't, because she never had sugar.
Yeah. But like, so like, again, wisdom and grace being passed down. But also, I was an a-hole. And I gave her freaking red dye 40 for her first birthday. Yeah. So much. I mean, it was pink, so it wasn't crazy.
Full strength.
Yeah. It wasn't red. But it's just like, at the same time, like my sister knew all that stuff then and still was like, I do enough for my child that if loving my sister in this moment is as important as my kid having some of this dye. You know what I'm saying? Like that's real. Yeah. But if I didn't have a big sister to teach me that, now I have these kids and I'm like that I would have thrown the cake away. Right? And she was like, but if it had been my little sister who did it, if I had a little sister, I might not have. Right? Now that I think about it. Yeah. I mean, maybe you could have a couple licks and then be like, okay, that's enough. Haha, and take it away. Right? And so, but there's so much to be had in like, you change. And if you're going to have 7 wives in one life and hopefully it's the same one, just understanding, because they're pretty steady.
Yeah.
I really honestly think men just like blossom. Like into their potential and into their manhood, but we literally like I was a blonde, then I was a brunette, I decided I'm a redhead. I wear boho clothes, now I wear linen clothes, now I don't ever wear shoes even in restaurants. You know, like you know what I mean? Like we are a wild ride. Right? We evolve, but they just kind of unfold.
I feel like they get more, not stern, but like settled into what they want. Like what they want from day one is what they want. And as they get older, it's like their determination grows, or you know, if they're not getting it, then they kind of get more settled in that. But like my dad and my husband are very similar. Like, very driven people.
He took my keys.
What they want.
He did go this way, but
He's outside.
He's outside with my keys?
He went out the front door.
Okay, cool.
driving away.
Yeah, I saw that and I just.
Okay, he's in the van. Okay.
I just don't want to interrupt you.
It's okay, we're done. This is the conversation part. But this is my sister Dawn. She owns an herbalism shop. She's actually dropping off first aid kits. If you don't have it, you should get it.
Where's your shop?
How much is the first aid kit?
How much is a first aid kit? 80? 85?
Yeah.
And it has activated charcoal, it has yarrow powder, it's comfrey, so for broken bones, for plantain. What?
Made the cake?
Made what cake?
Cake for her?
I made the cake for her, the dyed cake. Yeah. Yeah. For her, because her daughters are now 21 and 23.
20 and 23.
20 and 23.
Right here, you just can't go.
How did he get there?
I think he's trying to get through. Evelyn did the same thing. Trying to get through.
What?
Go the other way, Key.
Diaper bag? Yeah. And the front seat.
Oh, he's getting a ball. That's
And the wipes are like thrown on top of it.
Group effort.
Okay, have fun getting Karen.
No, I don't have to come back in.
Well, why don't you ask if she needs help? Get your dirty shoes off the toys.
Okay.
Go help her. Be a gentleman.
But I guess it also, like, I need to do some focusing on my own values because I've come into some things and I'm like, is it worth the argument?
Yeah.
Or should we just compromise and keep the peace? And I feel like there's
Can you unlock the door? Yeah. But the why, that's why the why is important. Like, ooh, go Nora, go. Oh, you're naked. Her little, oh no, we have them. It's just locked in the car.
Last two. This is the plantain and comfrey, and that is the first aid kit.
Okay.
All right. I love you. I'll see you
Okay,
soon.
tell me. You gotta tell me how much to pay you. So just,
Okay, bye.
they usually eat pizza, so I'll also give you the money for that. It's $12.
So where do I have to go to
Whole
order
Foods.
pizza?
Do you want us to order it for you?
If you order it, I'll pick it up after I get Karen.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Great.
All right, we're done. Love you guys.
Bye.
So let me interrupt. I apologize.
Oh, you know, you're great. I'm glad they all met you.
Yeah. Bye.
But her first aid kit has this thing called yarrow powder, and it immediately stops bleeding. Wow. The comfrey, it helps with broken bones and bruises. The plantain helps with bug bites. She has a little activated charcoal thing. Like, it's a whole thing. It's very good. It's a hippie first aid kit. Yeah, and it has the magic stick in it.
I have that and the plantain because I just bought it by itself.
Yeah.
No. Should get the
But she makes really amazing teas, and she also can answer any health-related question you ever have about your kid ever.
Go to her shop before I move.
She's very smart. You'll spend money. Just have a budget before you go. But she can also ship stuff to you and all that stuff. So she doesn't have an online store or anything because
What's the name of the shop?
she's kind of a boomer in that way. My sweet sister. Really, she's like, we're like, you want a store? She's like, I just don't know how I would like get the order. Then I would have to pack the order, and then I would ship the order. And like, they literally have whole systems for that. And she's like, yeah, I just need someone to call me and tell me they want a magic stick, and I'll write their address down on a Post-it note, and then I'll mail it. Yeah, that's her.
Pestle and Potions.
Pestle and Potions is the name of it. And it's right next to the Mandarin Library. And she's also a very accomplished massage therapist for over 30 years. But she's a fixer, okay? So if you want to go there and leave feeling good, it's not what's going to happen. She's gonna find. She can do anything.
wow.
She has trained in so many things, but she's gonna fix your shoulder, and you might cry. I don't like that. That's not me. No, I would like a nice. I would like to walk away and feel lighter. That's how I like to get massaged, not torn up.
Those are cute diapers.
But if I'm hurt, she comes and fixes it. I love Dara.
She's the bomb.
Yeah, Dara makes you feel like when I'm pregnant, like I'm not pregnant for 24 hours.
Yeah.
She's so good.
Wow.
Like literally, you don't feel like you're
I'm
pregnant.
just feeling like I might need something a little more sometimes.
Yeah, like if you need something.
Sometimes I need to get beat up. And
Yeah.
But I went to this other myofascial lady, but she has all the lights on. It's like just, it's
Oh,
not
yeah, no,
like a
yeah.
massage. It's like actual therapy
Yeah.
and very intense. I'm like, I actually look at her hands when she's done. I'm like, did you have knives on, like literally attached to your thumbs? Like, how do you make me feel so?
Yeah,
good?
Dawn won't do that to you.
But afterwards, I feel good. So maybe she'll be good. In
No,
between.
she's good. She's really, really talented.
Okay, cool. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll be good in between.
She's a fixer though. Like she's like, oh, I'll need to see you 4 times and this will be done. Like she's a fixer.
All right. So
But she also can't fix anyone unless they get adjusted. So she's all about them getting adjusted. So she's like, yeah. So if we're not fixing what's causing this, doesn't make any sense for me to. Like, so she'll be like, oh, you don't get adjusted? Cool. So I'll see you forever.
when I talk to people about nutrition too, like they're like, why have migraines and this? I'm like, well, just real quick before you dive into nutrition, have you been to a chiropractor? I mean, 2 chiropractors only do so much, you know?
Hi, baby.
This is extremely unrelated, but
Yeah.
I think we're kind of done. I was just curious. We were about to go to town for like 7 days, and so we're staying in an Airbnb and with 2 separate friends. And so most places, actually all 3 places, we'd probably share a bed, but I haven't been sleeping in the same bed with Alex and Evelyn since we've been night weaning. So what do you think should the best strategy be? Alex like, you're not sleeping in our bed. I'm like,
yeah, I agree with him.
I mean, I'm like a pregnant lady too. So
no, I think he's right. I think he's right.
Okay.
So, are you flying or driving? Then I would get an air mattress and I would bring it.
Okay.
I would find some sort of thing that you were okay sleeping on.
Well, we're just driving to North Carolina. We're going to a friend's wedding, but then we have 2 separate groups of friends in North Carolina. I'm like, listen, if we're driving 7 hours, we're gonna maximize seeing everyone. So.
Yeah, no, I would not sleep with her.
Okay. All right. Even.
Even.
With Evelyn.
Yeah.
Well,
the night weaning.
Well, the first place we're staying in Airbnb, but my mom's coming with us, so she was gonna get like the pull-out couch, but I could just sleep with her. So
yes.
That's a good solution. And then one of our friends, they're like, we have an air mattress and our couch is super comfy, and so it's already gonna. Yeah. I'll just sleep. We'll probably like in the same room though, but I'll be like on the couch, and like that might be tough.
Might not work.
Yeah, but I mean,
here's the thing, if you let them go to sleep, and then you go in there, it should be fine.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But it's like hit or miss with her right now. Sometimes she sleeps.
But you know she's gonna cut that out of molar on this trip.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying absolutely not. Do not go.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, she'll like put her down for a nap and like give her a bottle and rock her, and I've totally broke the habit of nursing her to sleep like 100% at nap time. So in the middle of the night, if she sees me, could I just try to do that? I mean, like I'm not gonna nurse her and everything, but do you think if she's like saying "Mama" that I can just do what I do at nap time that she does? You don't think so?
No, it's different. Nap is not the same. I think Alex is right. I think when she's a little bit more distanced from it, it'll be fine. Like I can sleep next to Honora now. I slept next to Honora last night. She doesn't even talk to me. She's just like, she like comes in, she like makes sure I'm there, and then she goes back to sleep. But I think it's too close to the time.
Okay.
You could also just try it, but if you lose it.
Yeah, Alex is like, we're not gonna waste all this work.
Yeah, and so I feel like it's more important not that you will lose it, that he needs to feel supported. Like he supported you in this, and he's saying, I have a fear here, and I don't think we should do that. And I think the more important thing is to say, okay, I hear you. Like, I'll figure it out. It's a couple nights, and I might be sore, but it's not forever.
All right.
If you were 3rd trimester pregnant and it was this, then it might be a different conversation. Again, I think we could like weigh your concerns over that, but right here, I think I side with Alex.
Okay. I think everywhere except our one friend's house where they're like, oh, like just gonna let us sleep in the guest room. I don't really want to sleep like out in their living room. But it's only 2 nights. We're only staying everywhere like 2 nights. So.
That's also gonna be very disruptive and stressful for her. So, because there's just 2 nights every place. It's like, because you're like, so you just said something that I feel like I would have said with my first kid, which is, oh, we have 3 sets of friends. We need to maximize this trip.
Yeah.
And I think at where I'm at now, I would be like, I'm going to this wedding and this wedding only. And if they want to see me, they can meet me for coffee, but I have one spot and people can come to me. I'm not going to other places. I think that.
Well, everybody's just a couple hours.
I went to Colorado Springs 4 weeks postpartum with a 4th degree tear and hiked.
Wow.
I do not recommend.
Yeah,
but I think with the wisdom I have now and how stressed out it is on my kids, I would, and I mean, you're going to do your trip, it's going to be fine. And Evelyn might just roll with it.
Okay.
Wow.
All the way on. That was kind of good.
She kept it away from her.
It's okay.
What happened? Did it fall?
Yay, you survived.
Yeah, sit down for her.
All my treasures. Well, yeah, I just figured, I'm like, well, we only have 1 kid now. It's only going to get harder. So.
Yeah, I just think if you asked me what you should do, I would say, can you be more central and have people come to you so that at least one thing is constant for her. It's just going to start. So I would bet my student loan money she's going to have a fever when you come back.
Student loan money, go.
Or while she's there.
Yeah, all right, I'll take
It's a lot. It's $500K between the 2 of us. Here's why. And the fever is a statement that they're stressed. It's not that she's sick. She's not sick from traveling.
Yeah.
You stressed her out. And her body's like, well, stress lowers my immune system, so I'm going to up my temperature to battle getting sick.
Yeah.
She might get a runny nose. She might be really clingy. She might refuse to eat things. because she's got to manage her little power things. So that's why I would just say, knowing what I know now, I think I would say, no, I'm just going to the wedding.
It's so hard though because like we used to leave the country for 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, so now our big trip is a week to North Carolina. Like,
Well, again,
yeah.
like I told you, you can leave the country. You just need to stay longer.
Yeah.
You just need to go for a longer period of time. There are kids who travel all the time, and your third kid is going to have no choice. While you have the first kid, and I know how you're parenting her, you're going to make the space because her personality also kind of demands it. The first kid always is like the neediest one, like my son. But Honora's just like, where are we at today? Oh, we're waking up here? Cool. All I need is this guy and this girl, and I'm good. But like when the kids sleep at grandma's and they wake up, she goes, Bubba? Sissy? Like, why aren't they here? Like, what the? Hey! Like, what the heck is happening? But then she's like, well, they'll come back.
Yeah.
So she's the most flexible. She's probably going to be the most flexible, and any other kids that we get to have are going to be more flexible than my son. I'm going to be like, gosh, guys, Vincent really needs us to come here and go to this. This is his plan. And we're all going to be like, okay. Because he's always going to be that way because he's the first kid. It's just going to be a part of their personality.
Well, I'll probably text you a lot, but
Yeah. But you know what? Even if it's the hardest thing you've ever done, it's not forever.
yeah.
It's a trip. You're going to go on trips. You're going to travel. Traveling with kids is awesome. I highly recommend it. If you are ready for their stress, they're going to be stressed out by it. This is also like when people are like, I want to travel with kids. I'm like, then stop sticking to an app schedule because traveling with kids, there's no schedule. Love you. Please? But yeah.